Welcome to CTV News, Your Canada. It's Thursday, September 11th. We'll bring you profiles of fascinating Canadians and stories about your community. Thanks for watching.
It's unlike any show ever produced in the province.
This is a show made by East Coast Canadians for East Coast Canadians.
From performers, musicians, to the person collecting tickets at the door. This telling of a small Newfoundland town that opened its doors to the world on September 11, 2001 exclusively stars New Brunswick talent. None bigger than come-from-away Broadway star and Fredericton native, Tony Lepage.
It is absolutely a dream come true. To be able to perform for the people that I love, people that I know in the province that gave me my start is essentially, you can't imagine a better situation.
You can feel that extra pride in the room from the audience watching it, that they're seeing their own up there on the stage doing this.
Between a handful of shows in St. Andrews and a week's worth of performances upcoming in St. John, there's not a ticket to be found. Each show offers around 900 possible seats.
I can't recall a production in New Brunswick ever that would have had this level of attendance, this level of resonance with the communities.
Not only has the show allowed New Brunswick talent to be seen, but it has given major venues a chance to be a part of something special.
This is what our theater was built to do. This type of production lends itself exactly to this kind of house, and we're thrilled to make that happen.
The unforgettable string of shows marks a shift in the future for New Brunswick theater. This telling of Come From Away saw 3 different theater companies join forces and proves the high level of talent within the province. Thursday is September 11th. Having performed the show on this day in the past, Lepage admits there's a little extra emotion that comes with the performance, but he also calls it a tremendous honor and a powerful reminder that on a day where a small group showed their worst, so many more showed their best. Avery McRae, CTV News, St. John.
There is a lot of interest as crowds tour acres of new equipment on day 2 of 3 at Canada's Outdoor Farm Show. A few are in the mood to buy, but most are holding off.
Today, I think we're just looking, or I am just looking anyway, so.
Yeah, we're just looking around today.
The ongoing trade war with the United States has raised the prices of some U.S.-produced farm equipment and parts. Add to that commodity market uncertainty, and some producers are opting to stay on the sidelines.
Oh yeah, you watch them every day to see what's going to happen. So if, price, affects crops, it's going to affect machinery, it's going to affect, what you can do in the future.
The impact of tariffs has been noted by show organizers. While the number of vendors here hasn't fallen, they are feeling the pressure.
We're trying to keep things just in demand, just in time delivery, and I think that puts a pressure on farmers too. But it's something we'll all get through. Farmers have had difficult situations in the past.
Now, the importance of agriculture on both sides of the border was highlighted in a private meeting between Ontario's agriculture minister and his counterparts from Pennsylvania. Following the meeting, Pennsylvania Secretary of Agriculture Russell Redding told CTV News his administration chose to visit Canada to discuss animal health, border flow, and tariffs. But the Democratic politician stated his top priority for the visit was to reassure Ontario farmers.
And I think making sure that our growers know that we are here talking about those exact things, reassuring your government and your growers that we value that, or we want to grow that. We've got this temporary problem, right? We've got to come to some agreement on how to manage the tariffs.
Ontario Agriculture Minister Trevor Jones welcomed the pledge and spoke of positive U.S. relationships.
I wouldn't say there's a problem with our American counterparts. There's some issues at the top, but the values overlap so well. And you'll hear that from Secretary Redding. The values are here because our values haven't changed.
In Woodstock, Sean Irvin, CTV News.
Welcome to 1490 Blair Road in Cambridge. Come on in.
Tucked away in the historic Blair Village is a local landmark up for sale, said to be one of the oldest standing homes in Waterloo Region.
I love pulling in because you come in down that winding trail, sort of. It feels like you're entering a fairy tale and then this house is revealed with this old world charm. It's like you step back in history.
The home was built more than 200 years ago, 50 years before Confederation.
It was originally built by the Bechtel brothers. They were some of the original settlers here in Blair Village. I'm sure you've heard of Bechtel Park, so that's named after them.
A whole lot of history spread out onto the 1.4-acre space.
Yeah, so it's listed at $1,650,000. It's got 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and over 3,700 square feet of living space. And as we come in here, this would have been the original dining room.
When this house was built, most of what we know now as Waterloo Region was Waterloo Township.
There's lots of century homes around, but something that's, 200 plus years old, one of the original homes built, that's pretty rare to come by.
The owners, who have passed the home down for several generations, are looking for a very specific buyer who appreciates what the home has to offer.
Somebody that wants a home with a story, to continue that story, and then also appreciates privacy and having a big yard. It's also got 2 separate detached garages.
The City of Cambridge told CTV News the home was included in the Heritage Conservation District of Blair bylaw, meaning it is protected by certain development that would enrich the rich history behind these walls.
The realtor admits that since this is a very unique home, they do expect the sale to maybe take a little bit longer as they want to make sure the buyer is the right fit.
The Prime Minister Vladimir Vladimirovich Putin is a midget. That's not a deformed dwarf manipulated by oligarchs.
I think in the minds of a gagman, he's more of a child.
Actor Paul Dano understands if people confuse his fictional new film, The Wizard of the Kremlin, with fact.
I felt like it's really reflecting something back to us about our times. It is a story about how we got here today, to this sort of very strange post-truth world where her optics and the theater of politics plays a larger role than ever.
The year is 2019, and the geopolitical drama tells the tale of Vadim Baranov, a television producer who over 15 years transformed a seemingly uncharacteristic Federal Security Service chief into Russia's indomitable President Vladimir Putin. Directed by award-winning Olivier Assayas, a Frenchman who isn't afraid to tackle any variety of film topic, and an investigation into the making of the Russian president, he says, is timely.
I think our world is going through really striking changes. I think the politics are not the politics I knew from my earlier years. I think, and I think, when you make movies, either you can turn your back to that. I mean, you can turn your back to modern history, or you can try to confront it in a.
Okay, so from one kind of controversial topic to another, you may have heard that the documentary Degrassi, Whatever It Takes, there was a lawsuit launched against it to halt the screening of it on Saturday. I have good news. Linda Schuyler, the creator of Degrassi, has released a statement. This lawsuit has been settled. I'm going to read you the statement so you can understand. From the beginning, it was important to me and to the whole Degrassi team to do what we could do to set our young performers up for success. The cast was paid much more than $50 a day. We also created and contributed on their behalf to a retirement fund and a scholarship foundation that provided them with opportunities for counseling and supported them into the future. So basically what is being said, I think there was there was some thought as to what was in the film, how it was being construed or heard. Now people can see the film, make a decision themselves. Linda is happy. The filmmakers are happy. The producers are happy. I'm happy. You'll get to see Degrassi on Saturday at TIFF. Reporting from King Street, I'm Andrea Case.
Really exciting day for all of us at the foundation. It's a day we've had circled on our calendars for a long time.
This is the 2025 Minto Dream Home in Manotick, the $3.7 million grand prize in the CHEO Dream of a Lifetime lottery.
A beautiful 5,400 square foot home that's going to be the source for so much good in our community as people help us with the Dream of a Lifetime lottery this year.
Features include high ceilings, 4 bedrooms including 1 on the main floor, 4.5 bathrooms, 2 laundry rooms, and a 3-car garage fully equipped with tools and a wheelchair lift. The O'Reilly family was at this launch to offer support to CHEO. Daughter Blakelyn was born with a heart defect.
We're so thankful for all of those donor dollars that come through and have allowed us to be able to enjoy our lives now as a family and have Blakelyn's health.
Thank you again for being here. And
CTV's Austin Lee hosted today's Dream Home launch event. At $5.2 million, this is the largest CHEO Dream of a Lifetime lottery in its history. Other prizes include $100,000 in cash and a Mercedes-Benz SUV. Public tours start today. The design inspired by New York City.
Where some of the most iconic Art Deco architecture is, the Empire State Building, the Chrysler Building, and we're really seeing creatives kind of take inspiration from that, especially in boutique hotels and luxury retail spaces.
The basement has a home gym, lounge area with a bar, and even a home theater room with a massive modular sectional sofa. Since this lottery started 30 years ago, $110 million has been raised for CHEO. Minto has been involved in the lottery for 25 years.
Whether it's internal employees or trades that work with us day to day, they're always looking for the opportunity to be involved in this home and deliver it.
Tickets for this year's lottery are now on sale. Dave Charbonneau, CTV News.
I counted how much in the column and how much in the row.
Theodore Moak's favorite subject is math. He says his mind just gets it.
Well, for some reason, I like to play around with numbers.
Normally, he would be doing his math work at school with his friends. But for now, Theodore's classroom is here at the Montreal Children's Hospital. Theodore, who's 11 and a half, has a brain tumor and spends hours at a time at the hospital undergoing treatments.
I sometimes stay between 2 and 4 hours here.
It's far from ideal, but learning helps pass the time. Theodore is one of many young patients being taught by the hospital's on-site teachers. Sometimes they're in a room like this, others, they're by his bedside.
Do you want to do the warm-up?
His teacher, Peter Tatuma, says the job demands a lot of flexibility.
But we try to establish a schedule, and I think it's reassuring, I think, to the kids sometimes that they're not missing out on anything, and the fact that we're here.
Tatuma says class is roughly an hour a day. The lessons follow the curriculum. Theodore's mom says it's a relief.
To have this option here, to have the teacher, and that he's gonna, and because it's a one-on-one, then he can focus also on what is harder for him. So it's a big comfort.
While each lesson helps Theodore stay on track, his family says the treatment will hopefully be completed by the end of the year, which means he'll be heading back to school in January. And although he says he likes the one-on-one attention he gets here, there are some things the hospital just can't replace.
I actually miss my friends and me. I just can't hold it a long time without my friends.
That day can't come soon enough. And when it does, he'll be all up to date on his homework and healthy. Degrassi, CTV News.
She's watching a video of a past performance, and Elaine Quillicini can't help but move to the music. She founded the Calgary Girls Choir 30 years ago, and it's been a lot of work, but a labor of love.
You try to give the expectations and goals of the choir. You do attendance lists. You do seating plans. You do, figuring out where you're going to perform, and it's huge, actually.
Quillicini never expected to be nominated for the Lieutenant Governor of Alberta's Distinguished Artist Awards, let alone win one.
I have devoted my life to this work and to children and young people and adults, and traveled all over and worked very hard. And so it did feel like a real pat on the back,
Gwen Earwood is an accomplished opera singer who guest sings with the Calgary Girls Choir. Her singing journey started when she was in grade 1, and her mom signed her up to learn from Quillicini.
Oh my gosh, I was so thrilled when I heard that she got it. I've known Elaine since I was 6 years old, and of course she's my teacher and mentor, but she's also become my friend. And I'm so proud of her. It's amazing. So well deserved.
Close to 40 artists were nominated for this year's awards.
It covers all of the arts disciplines. We're not just music or just literary arts. We consider candidates and nominations from right across the spectrum, all arts disciplines, as well as sort of across the province. So It's a challenge, but there are so many wonderful people, and that's not a bad challenge to have, is it?
Quilicini says she's not retiring anytime soon and will continue on as long as she's healthy and happy. Kevin Fleming, CTV News, Calgary.
It's not perfectly smooth. There's imperfections in it.
Glenn Scrimshaw has been capturing nature scenes in his art for nearly 40 years. Then what started as a craft project for his grandkids became a rock-solid new medium for his art.
So I've been painting on rocks. And what a very interesting medium.
He started putting his creations on rocks in May and found that people were very interested in the new approach.
Rocks are not like paper. They don't absorb the paint. They're textured in different ways. Every rock is different, so I find it very, very challenging.
The finished rocks range in price.
It all depends on the size and how complex they are.
Since all rocks are different, so is the art.
And there's some texture on the bottom. I can make it look like a bank full of snow, and I've been able to, I even surprise myself because some of them, I feel like I could almost step into them.
He doesn't just pick up a rock and start painting. It's a varied process to decide what he's going to create.
Sometimes it's 5 minutes, and this I've been looking at it for a month and a half.
With most of his art over the years, he's given a portion of proceeds to charity. And in this case, with the rocks, he chose Meewasin Valley Authority.
It's been amazing to work with him and to have him choose Meewasin as the charity of choice to receive the proceeds from his rock paintings. Instead of hanging something on the wall, you can have something sitting at your desk or, part of your home decor. We also love how it's connecting people to nature.
And most of his works are nature scenes, true to his style, but this was the first one he sold, a deluxe cheeseburger. It went to a restaurateur who couldn't resist.
You can never stop learning. Every day I learn something new, and the rocks, I look at them differently, and there's ideas flying through me, and it's just so interesting and so invigorating.
Carla Shinkaruk, CTV News, Saskatoon.
3, 2, 1.
These birds are taking flight after spending months in recovery.
The species that was most important to get on their way today are the Swainson's hawks. They leave the nest sometimes in July and August, and then by mid to late September, they're already heading on their way to Argentina.
5 of the birds were released Wednesday morning near Cottonwood Park on the city's west side. A Merlin falcon and a short-eared owl also took flight on a new life.
They nest in our farms and ranchers, and even right here in the city of Lethbridge, there's a lot of them nesting in people's backyards, especially out around 43rd Street on the north side. We've even found them nesting like in the London Road area.
The 7 birds released were all found in Lethbridge and taken to the Alberta Birds of Prey Foundation for rehabilitation.
They got some pretty big talons, and that it's a little concerning, but it wasn't too bad.
While the birds will migrate for the winter, Colin Weir says most will likely return back to the Lethbridge region in the spring.
We'd be up to our ears in mice and ground squirrels or gophers if it were not for the Swainson's hawks and red tails and ferruginous that we have here in southern Alberta. So tremendous environmental benefit and a very big benefit for the farmers and ranchers.
The Birds of Prey Foundation takes in injured birds throughout the year. Weir says since the beginning, he's been able to release thousands of birds back into the wild. Carson Marsuk, CTV News, Lethbridge.
I was doing my cards and rock, paper, scissors.
It was an exciting day for the patients in the pediatric unit at the Regina General Hospital as 5 superheroes rappelled their way down the windows outside of their playroom. It all started when 5 members of the Regina Police SWAT team wanted to brighten the days of children on the ward.
We're all fathers on this team. We all have children. I have 3 myself. And so children, they're just a special part of our lives. We all know someone and have had kids that are sick and been in hospital for a significant amount of time, and we know the strain that puts on families and the children themselves.
Shortly before the descent, the superheroes went inside to greet the kids, to give high fives, hugs, and gifts.
Met the superheroes, and they love me so much, and they gave me this necklace.
Some overreacted in some fear, I'm not going to lie. There's some scared ones, but all in all, they're very happy to see us. Lots of high fives, some hugs, and they're just genuinely curious about all the things that we're wearing.
The event raised over $15,000 for pediatric programs, proving that even though not all heroes wear capes, some of them do.
The big thing about a hospital is that we're using the equipment that we have 24/7, day in, day out. So stuff wears out on us really quickly, and it's just everything's expensive, right? Even when you look at the monitors, which you might be looking at 15 grand for a single monitor that goes from room to room.
All parties involved believe that they think that this can become a yearly tradition at the Regina General Hospital. Damian Smith, CTV News, Regina.
Here they are, your 2025 Canadian versus Snowbirds.
From Edge Hill Park to Midland Bay Landing, locals and visitors lined the shores to catch a glimpse of the aerial team's incredible precision and teamwork. The weather even cooperated, ideal for watching the skies.
It's not often that I get to go back to a hometown, and we got a lot of people on our team that are from places that we usually visit, like Toronto or London, but being able to come back here and support a small community is very special for us.
This was unexpected. The Snowbirds crew reached out to me while I was down in Ottawa at the AMO, saying that they had an available opportunity to put on a show near Snowbird One's hometown, and would they be welcome? Needless to say, I asked them, I'll sign anything you want, even in blood. Come on up and put a show on.
This marked the first ever time the iconic aerobatic team lit up the skies in Midland. No word yet on if the Royal Canadian Air Force Snowbirds will soar over our region again next year.
Connor Belanger and his mom Liz don't need to look at pictures from their recent tubing trip to remember the sound they'll never forget.
Kind of high-pitched squeaking sound that I've never heard before.
Liz was moving down the river too fast to see where it was coming from, but Connor was far enough behind to spot something struggling in the rapids and reached out to help.
Slowly, kind of clawed its way up into my palm, with its front heft, and then I scooped it up.
But it wasn't until it was safely in his arms that Connor saw its tiny tail and realized he'd saved a baby beaver.
It felt awesome, and I felt super protective of it immediately.
And he just held on and let us kind of look. And
After it stopped breathing heavily, the baby started falling asleep in Connor's arms. And for the next hour, until they reached their pickup point downriver, they cuddled close.
Just has so much empathy for animals.
When they got to shore, they marked the specific location where they'd found the beaver on a map and started reaching out for someone official to help the baby they'd named Chip.
She would open her little eyes, look around, and then snuggle back in, just take care of me.
The family took turns cradling the baby as they drove an hour and a half out of their way to the North Island Wildlife Rescue Association.
It was really good that they found it when they did.
Joanna Smith says the baby was just a week old and likely swept out of her den before floating too far downriver for her family to find her.
Without Mom, there's no way she would have survived.
But after a few weeks in care, the beaver, now renamed Little Timber, is thriving.
Oh, she's a busy beaver.
Well, the beaver's expected to be released back into the wild in about 18 months. Liz and Connor will likely be looking back fondly on their time with Little Timber forever.
And such a Canadiana experience. We rescued a baby beaver.
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Saanich.